Hola amigos y bienvenidos nuevamente a Pop Corner. Soy Uribe DJ y hoy un programa dedicado al protagonismo de Colombia en el cine mundial para el cierre de este año 2021. Una película es hecha en Colombia y la otra es inspirada también en nuestro país. Así que bienvenidos y recuerden que si ustedes no están al día con los fenómenos pop, tranquilos, que aquí se actualizan. Desde el momento en que Jessica se levanta con un estruendo, un fuerte bang al amanecer, ya luego no puede volver a dormir. Ella es una mujer que cultiva orquídeas y vive en Medellín, pero ha viajado a Bogotá para visitar a su hermana. En este proceso se hace amiga de Agnes, una arqueóloga que estudia restos humanos descubiertos dentro de un túnel en construcción. Y ya, eso es todo lo que les puedo contar por ahora de la película Memoria, una cinta realizada en su totalidad en Colombia, más específicamente en la ciudad de Bogotá y en Pijao, en el Quindío, por el director tailandés Apichatpong Weerasethakul, un nombre bien complicado de pronunciar para muchos, motivo por el cual le llaman Joe. El estilo de este director es bien particular, escenas largas, planos abiertos, pero sobre todo una película que habla con el sonido, lo cual me pareció muy interesante, créanme, muy interesante. Una película desafiante de ver, pero que se convierte finalmente en una experiencia sensorial de todas las maneras posibles y está producida por una mujer colombiana, Diana Bustamante. En lo personal, para mí fue más como una vibración de 2 horas que me permitió tener una conexión mucho más directa con la parte artística del cine. No es una película que necesariamente necesite tener una lógica o un discurso coherente que vaya en una sola dirección hacia un desenlace, no. Este no es ese tipo de película. El director durante los años 70 creció leyendo novelas sobre cazadores y arqueólogos en busca de tesoros de civilizaciones perdidas. Esto obviamente influyó mucho en algunas de sus películas como Tropical Malady y una llamada Uncle Bunmi. En la última década, Apichatpong visitó Argentina, Brasil, Perú y luego Colombia, donde pasó la mayor parte del tiempo. Estos viajes le despertaron nuevamente esa fascinación y es ahí cuando Memoria comienza a tomar forma. Esto sucede de la mano de una artista maravillosa, la ganadora del premio Oscar Tilda Swinton, a quien ustedes seguro recuerdan por papeles mucho más dentro del contexto de Hollywood, como seguramente lo fue el arcángel Gabriel en la película Constantine con Keanu Reeves, la abogada Karen Crowder en Michael Clayton, que fue además el papel que le dio el premio de la Academia, y obviamente su papel como The Ancient One en el universo cinematográfico de Marvel, ahí como por nombrar tan solo un par de las más de 80 películas que ha hecho en su carrera. Tilda Swinton conoció al director tailandés al entregarle un premio en el Festival de Cannes hace unos años atrás y ahora ese mismo festival les entregó la Palma de Oro a los dos por esta película que también hace parte de las prenominaciones, ojo, por parte de la Academia Colombiana de Artes y Ciencias Cinematográficas a los premios Oscar como mejor película internacional, así que ojalá la nominen. Memoria es una película que está muy presente en los colombianos también debido a que el día que se presentó en el Festival de Cannes estábamos en una situación social bastante complicada y la bandera de SOS Colombia se vio en la alfombra roja de la mano de Tilda Swinton junto a los actores colombianos Juan Pablo Urrego y Elkin Díaz. Pero déjenme decirles que Tilda Swinton es mucho más. Esta artista escocesa ha sido durante años una gran activista política. Ha comenzado desde su propia tierra luchando por todas las causas en búsqueda de la independencia de Escocia. Ha luchado por los derechos de la comunidad LGBT. Se define como una persona queer que se sale de todas las ideas establecidas de sexualidad y género. Ha sido un ícono de la moda durante años, artista, expositora y cineasta. En fin, ella es fantástica. Tuve el honor y el privilegio de conocerla y hablar con ella sobre la película Memoria aquí en Pop Corner.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
My name is Alvaro.
Alvaro. Very nice to meet you.
Yes, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you. And also it's a pleasure to be talking to anyone in person, right?
Oh.
After all that happened.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm completely immune. I've had my vaccinations and I've had the Delta variant, so I am like glowing with antibodies. So I'm very, very happily able to travel.
thank you for Memoria, and congrats on the Cannes Prize. It's amazing, not only what you've done for this story, but in general for this country emotionally.
Tell me about that.
A lot of things happened when you're making this movie and then when you're presenting it to the world. You know, I saw the movie and I didn't see it as really as a story with a beginning, a middle, and an ending, but like a 2-hour vibration that pulls you into it, right?
That's beautiful, Alvaro. I love that.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know Apichatpong's work before. What was the main thing that motivated you to be part of this project?
Well, him, and pretty much exactly as you describe. I had the good fortune to see his film Tropical Malady, which now you will go and find, because you'll see everything. I can't remember what year, I want to say something like 2004, 2006, when I was in Cannes and I had the honor to be on the jury, and Tropical Malady was there, and we gave it a prize, and I became a correspondent. I can't exactly remember who, but we had a mutual friend, Joe and I, and we became correspondents, and at a certain point we started to make plans to make a film together, which actually was the plans we made then, which is, you know, nearly more than 15 years ago.
Wow.
We're quite close to what we finally made. We began with this kernel of an idea of this atmosphere around a person who was a stranger, moving in a kind of limbo state, as a receiver, as a transmitter, or rather as a conductor of energy in a place. And we knew very early that this wasn't going to be Thailand, and it wasn't going to be Scotland, where I'm from. We knew very early that we wanted to find another place where we were both aliens. And for years we didn't know where it was. And then he came to the Cartagena Film Festival.
Yes.
And he sent me a message. He said, "It's Colombia."
Any reason in particular?
Well, there's a resonance here that we both recognize.
Especially in Bogota and in Quindío. Why you choose those two places?
Having come to Cartagena, he started to travel around Colombia, and he then started to develop the screenplay and chose those places. Oh, I think Quindío really because of the tunnel. Was always from very early drafts. Once the film became set in Colombia, that the tunnel was an important character, if you like.
And every place in the movie is a character itself. And I love the long shots, right? The long shots that allows you as an audience to live in that space for that moment.
Exactly
and,
right.
And you see everything.
Yeah.
And you hear everything.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. But you also, as a performer, had the chance, like, to be involved and live in those spaces too, right?
Yes, it's very similar actually, Alvaro. I mean, the experience for me and for my colleagues inside the frame, the thing about that wide shot and those wide takes that, in terms of time as well, when we know it's going to be 15 minutes, it gives a sort of license within the frame to be really present, and your ears open up and you hear every bird and you hear every beep of every car on a street, and you know when you're doing it that that's what you hope, and you're pretty clear the audience will be able to have license to experience as well. So there's a sort of democracy I think in his work, in Apichatpong's work, in using these long takes and in using these wide frames, a democracy between those inside the frame and the audience.
You have done a lot of characters in your career, but was it hard for you to play a simple person with an illness?
It's closest to something very authentic about me, the way I move in the world. I am in fact a slow person and a quiet person, and being able to unwrap my social capacities and be this very receptive, quiet person was really easy. So it's a grace for me to play this person.
You said in interviews before that you don't consider yourself an actor per se. Why is that?
Well, it's me trying to be accurate, really, and trying to say it before anybody else says it.
Not me.
No, well, I'm so aware that there is such a thing as a real actor, and they say all sorts of very glamorous things about what their life is and what their aims are and what their process is, and I don't understand any of it. I know for sure that I never intended to be an actor, and I still don't intend to be an actor. I would be happier to describe myself as a performer, but to be honest, probably the most accurate way to describe myself as a filmmaker, because I work day to day more as a producer on films that I don't even appear in.
You work with great actors, Colombian actors, Elkin, Juan Pablo,
yes,
and also with a friend of yours, Jean?
Yeah,
I'm pronouncing
yes,
it okay?
yes. Jean, yes.
But there's a woman that is not on the film, and it's Diana Bustamante. I was working with her.
You know, Diana and my friend Anna, who works closely with her, they are my family here. I mean, my family is now quite large, my Colombian family, but they were the first relations that I met when I went to the Cartagena Film Festival the year after Joey. So Joey went and met them there, and then I went the following year and met them, and they're my sisters.
I read about the EHS, that's exploding head syndrome. That's kind of the thing that started all this process. But you can read the subtext of culture and society in a country like this. He comes from Thailand, a troubled country too. We all have like our personal memories, but as a country, we all have a common memory. That's a loud bang, historically, an explosion, a gunshot, and it's there, and it triggers that.
Yeah, I really understand and respect that, and I at the same time would say that the one of the things that's clear for us, Joey and I, as strangers here, is that it's also true for us. It's true for Thai people, and it's also true for Scots, that there is a shared the idea that's posited in the film of us sharing memories is really quite radical, and I think extremely hopeful, that if we relied on that more, that our ability to be compassionate and to understand and experience collectively our pains, then we might get further than we often do. But not only within a country, and you're absolutely right, Alvaro. I mean, this is a Colombian film, and it is about a Colombian landscape and a Colombian response, or rather a response to a Colombian history and Colombian memories. But it is also absolutely not just international, but intergalactic, because I know when we show this film in Thailand, I know when we show this film in Scotland, it will have resonance for people there. The whole relationship with history, with traumatic genocidal history, is something very real in Scotland and in Thailand. And so for us as strangers to come here and find a third place where it's also true is a meeting point. It's a recognition that we're not so different, in fact. How was
for you the thing with the language, the Spanish?
Very important. It's very important for this person to not be able to rely on the fluency of language. So we knew when we were talking about wherever we were going to grow the film that she should not be in her own language. When she speaks Spanish, it's very rudimentary, it's very searching. The connection is not through language. The connection is through every other way one can connect. Through, she's more connected through listening to birds or listening to howler monkeys than she is through any of the words that she's, bandying with the other people she comes into contact with.
Yeah, because that's the other language in the movie. The sound.
Yeah.
How do you interact with that invisible character? Because it's an invisible character, but he's there, and you know that he's going to have this huge impact.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was very well aware. I mean, that's true. I've been, you know, as I told you, I've been a worshipper at the altar of Apichatpong's cinema for a while, and that means I am very well aware how important soundscape is for him in all of his work. But particularly in this film, we knew from the beginning that it was gonna be a huge environment that we didn't have. So that's where imagination comes in. There was a certain amount of imagining and visualizing, but at the same time, I was going to ask you, have you found, since seeing the film, that you've picked up sounds in a new way? I mean, I certainly have found that it's made me much more attendant to sounds and even things in I feel my peripheral vision actually.
Yes, actually I am very sensitive to sound because I also work in radio.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware of what I hear every time. That's why the sound in this movie for me is like this second character in importance. It's something amazing.
No,
you only have a couple of pieces, musical pieces, but everything is just what is around you.
But it is also to do with the frame, because the frame is it keeps you in the present moment. You know, there's a whole tradition in filmmaking which is a narrative tradition, which means that you're driving a plot with cuts, with montage, with you know, you lead from a close-up to a wider shot or vice versa, and Joey's cinema is really different from that. He sets up a frame which is usually a wide frame with a lot of information in it. It's like somebody up here in the window, and there's a little bird coming down here, and then there's, you know, the sun might be doing something here, and then there's somebody walking, and you have so much to look at, and that you in the audience are caught like a fly in a spider's web. You're caught in the present. And you're not thinking of the future of the story, you're not thinking of what's going to happen next. You're just in that one frame for maybe 15 minutes. And it's an opportunity to rest, I think, for the audience.
Before I go, I want to ask you, what is that memory for you, for your career, for your personal life, that you take with you with this whole experience with Memoria and working in Colombia? Oh,
well, I mean, the most important thing is that I returned here 2 days ago, and for a long time I couldn't. I wanted to come back last year and I wasn't able to. It's really significant when you're able to return to a place that you really love and you've had a beautiful experience in, and to come back and to see all my friends again and to feel the atmosphere of Bogota, very reliable and very much as it was, even the weather, everything. It's to be re-stimulated again into that atmosphere and that environment. That's really beautiful, because it means it's always here. It's not going anywhere. So I would say the sort of resistance, the sustenance of this really benign environment for me is really an important thing.
Thank you so much, Tilda. You're amazing, and this has been a privilege.
Thank you, Alvaro. I'm very happy. I'm excited that you're going to see all the films now.
Yeah. I'm just two in, but I promise.
Keep going.
I promise you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
It's like a rumble from the core of the earth, and then it shrinks.
Probably 6,000 years old.
Oh.
Yes. Drilled into her head to release bad spirits.
Siguiendo con Colombia y quedándonos en las montañas del Quindío, se estrenó el tráiler final de la película Encanto de Disney. Esta es la primera película de esta famosa compañía que se centra en Colombia. Por allá en noviembre de 2016, el actor, cantante y compositor Lin-Manuel Miranda, que se volvió muy famoso a nivel mundial gracias a un musical de Broadway llamado Hamilton, reveló que John Lasseter, quien en aquel momento era el director creativo de Walt Disney Animation Studios, le presentó una idea para un proyecto de animación, una película sobre una familia latina. Encanto es una historia de fantasía, es una película mágica que nos acerca a una familia extraordinaria que vive en una casa extraordinaria, los Madrigal. Ellos viven escondidos en las montañas de Colombia, en el valle de Cocorá, en el Quindío. Como les decía, es una casa con poderes extraordinarios ubicada en este lugar maravilloso llamado Encanto. La magia de ese lugar ha bendecido a cada uno de los niños de esa familia con dones únicos y muy particulares. Aunque según ya nos muestra el nuevo tráiler de la película, pues no hay poder más grande y sanador que el de una arepita con queso. Hay solo una integrante de la familia que no recibió poderes, Mirabel, que es la protagonista de esta historia. Y cuando ella descubre que la magia que rodea a Encanto está en peligro, decide que siendo ella la única madrigal normal y sin poderes, pues tal vez podría ser la última esperanza de su familia. Encanto es una mirada hermosa a nuestro país, desde las letras del realismo mágico de Gabriel García Márquez, la belleza de nuestros paisajes, la riqueza de nuestra cultura, la cumbia, la música de Carlos Vives, en fin. Es un gran momento para la imagen de Colombia a través del cine y en medio de tantos problemas nos muestra con otra cara ante el mundo y nos aleja de los estereotipos negativos que nos han perseguido durante tantos años.
Hace muchos años, esta vela bendijo a nuestra familia con un milagro. Nuestra casa, nuestra casita, se llenó de magia.
Hola, casita. ¡Pisos! ¡Cajones! ¡Todos juntos!
Con el tiempo, cada miembro de nuestra familia
¡Cecilia, esa mano!
recibió su propio don mágico.
Ajá. Sí, te entiendo. No soy súper fuerte como Luisa.
¡Los burros otra vez se salieron!
Ya voy. O divinamente perfecta como la señorita perfecta Isabela. Pero mamá, ¿por qué soy la única que no recibió un don?
Eres igual de especial que cualquier otro en esta familia.
Tú sanaste mi herida con una arepita con queso. ¿Casita? ¿Qué sucede?
La magia está en peligro.
¡Tenemos que salir de aquí!
Hay que proteger nuestro hogar. Hay que proteger a la familia.
Es mi oportunidad. Voy a salvar la magia. Pero, ¿cómo se salva la magia? ¡He perdido mi don!
Mirabel, el destino de la familia. Todo va a depender de ti.
No puedo hacerlo.
Yo te ayudo. Las patas ya me contaron todo. No, quieto.
Hasta en los momentos más difíciles hay luz cuando menos lo esperas. ¡Wow! Muchas escaleras. Pero es bacano tener un amigo. No, se fue volando, no me quiere. ¡Cobarde!
Bueno amigos, espero que la hayan pasado muy bien el día de hoy en esta esquina dedicada al mundo de la cultura pop. Soy Uribe DJ, nos encontramos la próxima semana aquí en Pop Corner. Let's pop, pop, pop.